You lost something the day that relationship started. You just haven't figured out what it was yet. Your peace. Not all at once. Not in one dramatic moment you could point back to and say, that's when it happened. It left slowly, quietly, one small compromise at a time, until you woke up one day and realized you can't remember the last time you actually felt at ease in your own life. I want to talk to you honestly tonight, because I don't think anyone else in your life has said this to you directly. That relationship may be costing you your peace. And I think some part of you already knows this, even if you've been too afraid to fully admit it. I know it's hard to separate love from cost. You love them. Maybe you love them deeply, genuinely, in ways that make this conversation feel almost like betrayal just by having it. I'm not asking you to stop loving them. I'm asking you to honestly examine what this relationship is actually costing you, because love and peace were never meant to be opposing forces. Real love, the kind I designed, adds to your peace. It doesn't systematically dismantle it. I know you've been telling yourself certain things to make sense of the exhaustion. This is just what relationships require. Every relationship has hard seasons. I'm probably overreacting. Things will get better once this specific circumstance changes. Child, some of that might be true. Relationships do require effort, patience, and grace through difficult seasons. But I want you to distinguish between normal relational difficulty and a relationship that's fundamentally incompatible with your peace. Let me help you examine this honestly tonight. Do you feel more like yourself when you're with them, or less? I don't mean occasionally frustrated during a disagreement. I mean, over time, has your fundamental sense of who you are, what you value, what brings you joy, become smaller, more cautious, more filtered through the lens of what will and won't upset them? I know you might not have consciously noticed this shrinking. It happens gradually, the way water slowly reshapes stone, imperceptible in any single moment but undeniable when you compare who you were before to who you've become now. I want you to think about your body for a moment. Not your emotions, not your thoughts, but your actual physical body. What happens when you see their name appear on your phone? Does your chest tighten, even slightly? Does your stomach drop with a mixture of anticipation and dread rather than simple excitement? Your body often knows truths your mind hasn't fully acknowledged yet. I want you to pay attention to what it's been trying to tell you. I also want you to consider your sleep. Has it changed since this relationship began or intensified? Are you lying awake more often, replaying conversations, anticipating conflicts, managing anxiety about their moods or reactions? Sleep disruption is often one of the clearest physical signals that your nervous system doesn't feel safe, even if your conscious mind insists everything is fine. I know it's tempting to attribute all of this to other stressors in your life, work, finances, unrelated circumstances. Sometimes that's accurate. But I want you to honestly ask yourself whether this relationship has become a consistent undercurrent of tension running beneath everything else, amplifying stress that might otherwise feel manageable. I also want to address something important. Peace was never meant to be something you have to earn through perfect behavior, careful word choices, or constant vigilance about someone else's emotional state. If you find yourself constantly monitoring their mood, adjusting your behavior preemptively to avoid upsetting them, walking through your own life with the caution of someone navigating unpredictable terrain, that is not the peace I designed relationships to provide. I know some of you have convinced yourselves that this level of vigilance is simply what love requires, being attuned to your partner's needs, being considerate, being thoughtful about how your words and actions affect them. Child, there's a difference between healthy consideration and anxious hypervigilance rooted in fear of consequences. Healthy consideration comes from a place of care and mutual respect. Hypervigilance comes from a place of self-protection against unpredictable reactions. I want you to notice which one actually describes your current experience. I also want to speak to those of you who feel guilty even considering that this relationship might be costing you peace. You might think, but they have good qualities too. They're not a bad person. It's not like they're doing anything technically wrong. Child, I'm not asking you to determine whether they're fundamentally good or bad. I'm asking you to examine whether this specific relationship, with all its particular dynamics, is compatible with the peace I want you to experience. Someone can have genuinely good qualities and still be someone whose relationship with you consistently costs your peace. These aren't mutually exclusive realities. You can acknowledge their positive traits while also honestly assessing that this particular relationship isn't serving your well-being the way it should. I also want to address the specific exhaustion of relationships characterized by constant conflict resolution, where you feel like you're perpetually managing crises, mediating disagreements, or working to repair ruptures that seem to recur no matter how many times you address them. I know it's easy to believe that if you just communicate better, try harder, understand them more deeply, the pattern will finally change. Sometimes that's true. But sometimes you've already tried everything within your control, and the pattern persists because it isn't actually about communication technique, it's about fundamental incompatibility in how you both approach conflict, emotion, and relational security. I want you to be honest with yourself about which situation you're actually in. I also know some of you are in relationships where your own identity has become secondary to managing someone else's emotional instability. Perhaps they struggle with anger, with unpredictable mood shifts, with behavior that requires you to constantly adjust, accommodate, and absorb impact in order to maintain relative stability. Child, you were never meant to become someone's emotional regulation system, sacrificing your own peace to compensate for patterns they haven't taken responsibility for addressing themselves. I know it's easy to feel responsible for their well-being, especially if you love them deeply, especially if you've watched them struggle with genuine pain underlying their difficult behavior. Compassion for their struggle is not the same as being obligated to sacrifice your own peace indefinitely in service of managing it. I also want to speak to those of you experiencing this cost within family relationships rather than romantic ones, a parent, a sibling, an extended family member whose presence in your life consistently generates anxiety, tension, or emotional depletion. Family relationships carry additional complexity because you cannot simply walk away the way you might from a romantic relationship. But I want you to know, even within family systems, you are permitted to establish boundaries that protect your peace, even if that disappoints or confuses people who are used to unlimited access to you. I know boundary setting within family systems often triggers guilt, accusations of selfishness, or genuine grief over relationships that used to feel closer than they currently do. I'm not suggesting boundaries are easy. I'm reminding you that your peace matters, even within relationships carrying deep history and complicated loyalty. I also want to remind you, choosing your peace is not selfish. It's not a betrayal of love. It's actually a prerequisite for sustainable love, because you cannot pour genuine care into any relationship, including this one, from a place of chronic depletion and anxiety. Protecting your peace isn't opposition to love. It's the foundation that makes healthy, sustainable love actually possible. I know some of you are afraid of what examining this honestly might reveal. Afraid that acknowledging the cost means you'll have to make a difficult decision you're not ready to make yet. Child, I'm not asking you to make any decisions tonight. I'm simply asking you to start being honest with yourself, with me, about what this relationship actually requires of you, and whether that cost aligns with the peace I want for your life. I also want you to know, you deserve relationships where you don't have to earn peace through constant management, vigilance, and self-sacrifice. You deserve connection that adds to your life rather than systematically depleting it. This isn't an unreasonable standard. It's the baseline I designed relationships to provide. So here is what I want you to declare tonight: in Jesus' name, I will honestly examine what this relationship is costing me. I will not dismiss my own exhaustion, anxiety, or diminished sense of self as simply what relationships require. I will trust God with discerning whether this relationship needs honest confrontation, significant change, or release, rather than continuing blindly out of fear or obligation. Your peace matters to me. Your well-being matters to me. I did not design you to sacrifice your fundamental sense of safety and self in order to maintain any relationship, regardless of how much history, love, or obligation feels attached to it. Bring this relationship honestly before me tonight. Let me help you see clearly what it's actually costing you, and what steps toward restoration, boundaries, or release might be necessary for you to reclaim the peace I always intended for your life. If this message brought you clarity tonight, take a moment and like this video. And if you know someone who's been quietly losing their peace in a relationship they haven't fully examined, share this with them. Tell us in the comments, what is God revealing to you about your own peace tonight? We'd love to stand in prayer with you.